Before we start, I want to say this. If you're a beauty professional or service-based business owner who's doing all the right things, but still feels like your income depends on how much you physically show up and how many hours you can squeeze into your schedule, I built my new program for you. Limitless is for the woman who wants to earn more without adding more hours, who needs clearer strategy and the energy and identity shifts that actually move the needle in your business. It is a space where you're not doing this alone and where you can ask me questions anytime. I work super closely with you inside this container alongside a like-minded community of business owners who are serious about their growth as well, but also about life. So if you're ready to grow and want support doing it properly, book a call with me. The link is in the show notes for you. Now let's get into today's episode. Welcome to the Beauty Build podcast with me, Zara King. As a coach for beauty pros, it is my mission to help you earn more, work less, and create an unstoppable mindset. This is the show where we explore all of that. So whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting your beauty business, this podcast is for you. So sit back, relax, and join us on the journey. And for more, get yourself inside my private community, The Beauty Build on Facebook. Hello, you gorgeous beauty pro, and welcome back to another episode. If you are new here, I am Zara King. I know there's an intro, but I just like to say hi. If you're new here, really appreciate you. So glad you found the podcast. I have been a business and mindset coach for 5 years, and I've been in the beauty industry for 14 years. So this podcast is for you if you're looking to grow a beauty business and just have a beautiful life and work on your mindset and hear from somebody that is all about that. So thank you so much if you're listening. Please take a screenshot and pop it on your stories and tag me. My links to my socials are in the description below. I have had so many messages recently about how amazing the podcast is. Thank you very much. Please, if that is you, leave a review. I get all of these messages on Instagram and Facebook, and I don't think these are reflected in the reviews. So please, if you are loving the pod, hit the subscribe or the follow button and leave a review, because it really does help spread the word and get it in front of the people that need it, because I give so much value in these episodes. You tell me I give so much value in these episodes and that you love them, and so I really would love for more beauty professionals to find them. And talking of more people finding them, actually, I have had so many of you tuning in from all across the world, and I know that we're in so many different countries, which I absolutely love, but I've had messages from people all over, like different places in the US, different places in Australia, and it kind of baffles me, and I love it so much, because it's crazy to me that, you know, from over here just outside of London, I'm recording these things and other people can hear it from miles and miles and miles away. So thank you so much, and yes, please do just keep sharing, and the review stuff means the world. Honestly, it helps more than you know. I'm recording ahead of time today, so we are currently the week before Christmas, and last week my whole family, it felt like, got shut down with what I'm calling the plague. We had the super flu over here, which was absolutely awful, and I've actually not been ill all year, and I was bragging a little bit and explaining to people, especially my other half, that I haven't been ill, and then this thing got me, and it got me seriously good. So I had to juggle a few things. I had 2 kids off school. The youngest was lucky enough to sort of swerve it, so he only had 1 day off, where I was a bit concerned, but then he was fine, so he went into school. But me being really, really ill, and when I say ill, I'm talking raging temperature, I'm talking cough, cold, flu, sinusy, feeling like it was all infected, everything like that. My head felt like it was about to explode. And this raging temperature and nausea while trying to look after 2 children that had the same issues. Honestly, it's been horrendous. So last week was a little bit of a write-off, and then this week I'm trying to get ahead of the game, because I have also just launched Limitless, which is the new 6-month coaching program, and that's for beauty professionals that want to 5x their income, that want to potentially go into making more income online, you know, breaking away from that hamster wheel, that has just launched, which is the biggest launch, I want to say, of my career. That is what it feels like. And I wanted to keep it real and raw with you on this podcast in this season and give you life updates and give you business updates. So Limitless literally just launched, and it's literally, 2 days ago. We've got 3 women inside already. I've got calls lined up with other women that want to talk about it and get into it. And I'm so excited for that. But of course, when you're ill the week before a launch, it's not great. So I had my VA doing a lot of things for me. I was in touch with my coach daily. I think the poor man was really, touched out by the end of the week. But I'm really looking forward now to breaking up for Christmas, because I am only working a few more days and then the kids break up from school. So today I'm recording this, it's a Wednesday. They break up for school on Friday, and then we're taking a solid 2 weeks off, and I won't be back until January the 6th, which I believe will be the day that this comes out to you guys. It'll be my first day back at work and everybody will be back at school. Thank the Lord. So what I wanted to talk about today is the fact that you guys are all in this whole new year, new me. I'm in this new year, new me mode. And actually, I've been delivering a lot of training on this particular topic at the moment as well, i.e. when I'm recording this. I've been in different spaces, different paid membership spaces, talking about this for other people's clients. And of course, I deliver trainings to my clients on this type of topic as well, because I really highly encourage you to do it properly when you're stepping into a new year, rather than just kind of making a few resolutions and, being done with it. I really, really encourage a real plan when you've got this new year energy, because it's everywhere. One thing I don't love is that it can make you feel a bit behind when you see a lot of people on social media, giving the whole new year, new me, new goals. What are you going to do? What haven't you done? So I think it's very important, before I get into that type of thing, to say I say all of it with love, and I encourage you to do these things because it will serve you. It's not to make you feel like you haven't done enough. It's not to make you feel like you've got to do more. It's just to think about things strategically within your own capacity, though. But I always start with people and I say, really review what you've done, because even if you don't feel like it's been a massive year, like 2025, if you don't feel like that was a huge year for you, there's no reason to feel like somebody else did better than you. We've all got a different type of capacity. For me personally, I had a very good year. It wasn't my biggest financial year. It was the biggest sort of structural change in the business year. And, a lot of different opportunities came my way that I bloody loved. So, for example, I was asked to be a columnist for Scratch magazine for 2025. So I wrote for them every single month, which was amazing. I was asked to judge for them again for their Scratch Stars Awards. So that was my second year running, and I did the judging. I launched the membership in January of 2025. So we've done a whole year now inside that membership. And so I've taken so much data from all of the members that have been inside. And it's been such a great membership. It's been so good. And the value that's been delivered and the results that people have gotten, more income and moving into online spaces and creating their own memberships. People that have changed premises, gone from home based to now renting somewhere, earning more money, somebody that's, there's just so many different things. There's been lots of new people inside the Beauty Build, lots of new listeners on the podcast, because we brought the podcast back. That was another change in the business. So we did the season 1 and then we took a break because the membership was launching, and then we brought the podcast back, and the podcast coming back has just been massive. little man started school in 2025 as well. He started full-time nursery, so I was able to do more on the business. I did a lot more. I did a lot more collaboration. I did a lot more speaking inside other spaces and trainings inside other companies' spaces. I did guest trainings. I have done a lot more UGC as well, actually. So you don't see that type of thing on my social media because I don't post what I create for brands, but I create it and send it to the brands and they use it and I get paid to do that. So the UGC side of things has grown. There's been more clients, there's been more one-to-one clients, there's been more members, and now the launch of Limitless. So for me, that's like a good 6 or 7 things that I can go, right, that was a crazy growth year. It was a crazy growth year. And I can take all of the data from all of that stuff and then I can use it to fuel me. I can use it to make very informed decisions. I can decide what I want to keep doing, what I don't want to keep doing, what I might start, what I might stop. I can consider everything. And so I highly encourage you to review, because I don't believe you can move forward until you have that level of data. I want you to go deep with it. I go really deep when I work with you, and we pull so much from that type of thing so that you can then move forward with serious clarity. And what I want to talk about more on today is there's a difference, right, between the beauty professionals that are listening to this and saying that they are going to do, I don't know, X, Y, and Z for 2026. There's a difference between the people doing that and the people that actually listen to this and then action things and actually do it. And the key is having the direction, knowing how to break down what the goals are for the year, being intentional as well. The intention behind every single thing that you do is either working for you or against you every day. It's working from strategy. It's not bringing the emotion into it. It's thinking bigger picture. It's getting the accountability. The people that do those things are going to win this year, because if you're trying to grow your business without clear strategy, without a structure, if you're setting goals, it's going to be harder. It's going to take longer. The beauty pros that are hitting their goals, they don't do it alone. They work with someone like me. They put themselves around like-minded women to get that accountability and to get that feedback and to get that inspiration, rather than setting vague goals, relying on some form of motivation and hoping that it's going to work out. Because if you're setting these kind of goals without seriously getting into the strategy behind them, you are so open to comparing yourself to everyone else. I could have easily done that this year if I didn't have my structure. If I didn't have my particular way of doing things and breaking down things from a strategic business standpoint, a qualified strategic business standpoint that's proven to work, I would have very easily compared myself to so many other business coaches online. I would have gotten shiny object syndrome. I would have flitted from one thing to the next. It wouldn't have worked. Because it's the mindset. Motivation, it doesn't last. In the new year, we feel this fresh energy and we think, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z next year. And that motivation that we feel in January is probably gone by March, because it's winter as well. I did another episode similar to this, I think, a year or two ago. And I was saying, use the winter to get crystal clear and to do this work. Invest in yourself, get it done, do the work, and then start the plan and then really spring into action in the spring, because the motivation throughout the winter months, the dark months, is the hardest part. So you really need the accountability. You need to do it properly, and you cannot just be relying on, motivation that's going to come and go. So when it comes to actually, like, how do we do this, Zara? You have all heard of the whole SMART goals system. I've spoken about this before. Your goals need to be specific. I was on a call with a client the other day and she told me 2 or 3 goals and I was like, they are not specific enough. And so we broke them down. We got into it and we looked at everything on how to get there. So the first step for you guys is actually being specific and setting goals that you know how to measure. Because if you don't know how to measure the success towards that goal, it's not going to feel, you're not going to track your progress and it's not going to feel as achievable as it would as if you could do all of that, as if you were doing the measuring. It needs to be relatable. It needs to be timely. That is what SMART stands for. I'm not going to get into the whole each one at the minute. It's quite straightforward. We've done this before. What I really want to do is tell you guys that the worst thing you can do is set goals without systemizing how you're going to get there, because that's just a massive problem. And you're not going to get there and you're going to feel disheartened and you're going to forget them, like I say, by the spring. So, for example, one of my clients said, I'm going to earn more. I'm going to be financially independent. And I was like, that is ridiculously broad. What does that even mean? That doesn't just happen in a beauty business from seeing more clients, getting fully booked. It happens with a number of factors. And I bet there are, you might be listening to this thinking, well, I've said that. I want to earn more. I want to be financially independent next year. Okay, cool. Brilliant starting point. There's so much more to be done beneath that. And what I'd encourage you to do is look at your goals in a way that to get there, it doesn't include a lot of more hours, a lot more of your energy. In fact, I would go as far as to say, I have this overarching belief that it needs to be a goal that grows you in your life and your business without burning you out. I am like, that's an overarching thing for me. I'm like, why would we set a massive goal that depletes our life while our business just gets bigger and bigger and bigger? When I went from when I quit my full-time job in sales and I started Full Throttle Beauty, I went from a £300 month in my first month doing business alone to £1,200 a week. I didn't overestimate what I could get done in the first month. It didn't all happen just because I got lucky. I was home-based at this point. No one knew I existed. I had to get in front of people. It happened because of the systems that I teach. And they incorporate life and business and mindset, identity. It incorporated all of that. And I had accountability. I had people ahead of me that I invested in to give me the help that I needed and to give me the accountability that I needed. Because what you need is discipline and you need strategy. It's not motivation and it's not a nice big whiteboard of goals that are just going to sit there. It's not that. And it's also not a massive, huge, big quantum leap in your confidence, because you're always going to feel challenged. It's taking that inspired action and that action whilst you're scared. It's doing it while you feel slightly uncomfortable. And I don't see lots of people in the industry talking about it like this. That, to get to a certain goal, it's not just breaking down the strategy that I do with clients, it's breaking down the actual person you need to become to get there. It's auditing everything. It's auditing your life, your habits, and the business moves, the needle movers, to get you to the goal. So when we work together, what I do is I break down the goal and the steps that it means to get there. And then we break down what we have to actually do and become to support us in those tasks. That is how deep this is. So, a question to ask yourself is this. And I'll tell you why I say this. Because a lot of the time we rely on these external goals and these external validations to make us happy. We're like, it's January. First of all, we say, I'm going to wait till January. That's a different topic. But we say, it's January, these are the goals. And when I get there, I'm going to feel so happy. This is why I say to you to ask yourself this question. If you reached all of your goals tomorrow, would you, A, be happy energetically? And B, would your income actually be where you are dreaming of? Because if that's a no, or if either of those are a no, things need to change. And you might be thinking, of course, Zara. Yes, of course I'm going to be happy. Yes, of course. Okay, great. So you know that when you get there, you're going to be happy. Okay, I'd highly recommend you choose to be happy first, because that will create your outcomes. If you know how to work on that level of your identity first, that would be great. But if you're thinking, yes, of course I will. I know, I'm going to be happy there. My income will be where I want it to be if I reach this goal. I want you to think about, do you actually know what moves the needle actually moves the needle to get you there? I.e., you've set goals. I know you've set goals. But do you know exactly what needs to happen quarterly to get you there? And by quarterly, I mean, quarter one being January, February, March. And then Q2, the next 3 months. Q3, the next 3 months. Q4, the 3 months at the end of the year. Do you know exactly what needs to happen quarterly? Do you know what has to happen monthly, weekly, daily to hit the goal? Because that's the level we go into. That is the level of clarity. Because the reason I do this with clients, the reason I want you to do this is because once you have this level of clarity, once you have this level of strategy, structure, breakdown, and guidance and direction, you're far less likely to fall off the wagon when things feel hard, or when something doesn't go to plan, or like me last week when I had a launch to do and the whole household falls ill. Because you have this view of what it looks like month on month. So when you see Sarah down the road doing something completely different that looks fucking amazing, you're going to go, that's okay, because I know where I'm at in my plan. I know what month it is. I know what tasks we're doing because they serve the end goal of this quarter. And that quarterly goal serves the bigger goal of the year. Like, that's the level. And of course, like I mentioned, the stuff that goes alongside this is actually your life stuff. And it's knowing how to do the things, be the person to achieve the result. Other questions to ask yourself are things like, if I did take a day off, or if I wanted to take a permanent, day off, maybe it's Fridays, would the business be okay? Would the business fall apart? Are we at that stage yet where it would be okay? There are so many things to think about. I don't want you just to start the new year with a bit of a finger in the wind idea of a couple of goals. It's so much more than that. So I will leave you with all of this to think about. If you need me, you know where I am. Details are all in the descriptions. But thank you so much for tuning in, and Happy New Year to everyone. I honestly wish you the best and so much more for this year. But I'll see you on the next one. Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed today's episode and gained valuable insights that will help you in your beauty business and life. If you did, please take a screenshot and tag me in your stories. If you've got any questions or comments, please feel free to reach out to me on any of my socials. The links are always in the descriptions. And don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us improve and bring you more and more great content. Until next time, keep building that business.